Ooh, grand rising, and welcome back to the Concerned Citizens podcast. We are your host. I am the Lurker, and we have Godmomma.
Rich Rice. Today we are back with another video about the DNC Day 2. Today we're going to listen to Mr. Bernie Sanders and his speech, the Obamas, and maybe someone else if we can find them in the clip. Y'all get comfy, and we will be right back.
Welcome. Happy Hunger Games. And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Alrighty. There's a lot going on these YouTube streets, but for us over here on the Concerned Citizens podcast, we want to keep up with some of the real life stuff that's going on. So that's why we are going to continue to keep eyes on both parties and share what we can when we can with y'all. So get comfortable. Like we said, we are going back to the DNC outside of Chicago. And we got some keynote speakers, Bernie Sanders, the Obamas. They had themselves a little ball yesterday from what I heard. I did not watch it all. I went to bed early. But from what I heard, they was having themselves a party over there. They had Lil Jon and, skeeting all over the DNC, I guess. I don't know.
Baby, when I hopped in, they were having themselves a good time. Okay. Period.
A good time. Well, listen, with the rumors of how much Kamala has brought in for her campaign, they got the money to do so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They got the money to do so. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get in to Mr. Bernie Sanders, y'all. Let's hear what this gentleman had to say. Really shocked to see him here. Really happy he did. I wish he would have spoke at both conferences just to keep it even keel.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. My fellow Americans, it is an honor to be with you tonight because we're laying the groundwork for Kamala Harris to become our next president. And let me tell you why that is so important. I want you all to remember where we were 3.5 years ago. We were in the midst of the worst public health crisis in 100 years and the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. 3,000 Americans were dying every day, and our hospitals were overwhelmed with COVID patients. All across the country, businesses were shutting down. Unemployment was soaring. Workers were losing their health insurance. Schools were closing. State and city budgets were running out of money. People were being evicted from their homes. Children in America were going hungry. That was the reality the Biden-Harris administration faced as they entered the Oval Office. A nation suffering, a nation frightened, and people looking to their government for support. And within 2 months of taking office, our government did respond. We passed the American Rescue Plan, which provided $1,400 for every man, woman, and child in the working class. We extended and expanded benefits for the unemployed. We provided emergency assistance for small businesses to stay open. We guaranteed health care coverage to tens of millions of Americans through one of the largest expansions of Medicaid in history. We provided rent relief and mortgage assistance, which prevented tenants and homeowners from being evicted. We established emergency food programs for hungry children and the elderly, and protected the pensions of millions of union workers and retirees from being slashed by up to 65%. Oh, and by the way, we cut childhood poverty by over 40% through an expanded child tax credit. Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, Vice President Harris. Thank you, Democratic Congress. Now, I say all of this not to relive that difficult moment, but to make one simple point. When the political will is there, government can effectively deliver for the people of our country. And now we need to summon that will again, because too many of our fellow Americans are struggling every day to just get by, to put food on the table, to pay the rent, and to get the health care they need. Brothers and sisters, bottom line, we need an economy that works for all of us, not just the billionaire class. My fellow Americans, when 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck, the top 1% have never, ever had it so good. And these oligarchs tell us we shouldn't tax the rich. The oligarchs tell us we shouldn't take on price gouging. We shouldn't expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. And we shouldn't increase Social Security benefits for struggling seniors. Well, I've got some bad news for them. That is precisely what we are going to do. And we're going to win this struggle because this is precisely what the American people want from their government. And my friends, at the very top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process. Billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections. For the sake of our democracy, we must overturn the disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision and move toward public funding of elections. And let me tell you what else we must do. We need to join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people as a human right, not a privilege. We need to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. We need to pass the PRO Act so that workers can organize in unions and gain the decent pay and benefits they deserve. We need to strengthen public education, raise teachers' salaries, and make sure that every American, regardless of income, receives the higher education he or she needs. We need to take on Big Pharma and cut our prescription drug costs in half so that we no longer pay any more than other countries. Joe and Kamala made sure that no senior in America pays over $35 a month for insulin. We need to make sure that reality is true for every American. I look forward to working with Kamala and Tim to pass this agenda. And let us be very clear. This is not a radical agenda. But let me tell you what a radical agenda is. And that is Trump's Project 2025. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, giving more tax breaks to billionaires is radical. Putting forth budgets to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is radical. Letting polluters destroy our planet is radical. And my friends, we won't let that happen. Fellow Americans, in the last 3.5 years, working together, We have accomplished more than any government since FDR. But much, much more remains to be done. We must summon the courage to stand up to wealth and power and deliver justice for people at home and abroad. Abroad, we must end this horrific war in Gaza. Bring home the hostages and demand an immediate ceasefire. At home right here, we must take on big pharma, big oil, big ag, big tech, and all the other corporate monopolists whose greed is denying progress for working people. On November 5th, let us elect Kamala Harris as our president, and let us go forward to create the nation we know we can become. Thank you all very much.
When I say I want to hear policies, this is what I'm talking about. Come on, Bernie.
Right.
All right,
And what
let's
was
have
interesting is, to me, was Bernie said, we need to take on big pharma. We need to cut the prices down. But the day before yesterday, when we listened, they were bragging about how they had took on big pharma and won, how they already cut prescription costs down. So I see a little discrepancy in what's
absolutely.
happening here, and Bernie's always been my favorite because Bernie has literally always came out and just told the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was more of a tolerable Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't so
Yeah.
showy.
Yes. A poor man's Trump, I guess you would call him.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy Bernie very much. And going back, listening through some of his other policies, he got it, man. Bernie was
He
for the
did.
people. He
He
was
really
for
was.
the people. All right, y'all. Here goes some more keynotes. We got I keep looking, Godmomma. I did not see him. Mr. Clinton. So it could have been earlier or something, and it's just not on this clip, but I'll keep looking while we're listening.
Maybe he just didn't come, but I know they titled it one of the streams, the one I watched last night, it was titled Bill Clinton and the Obamas Set to Speak. So
Okay, so maybe he didn't show up,
he might not have.
and maybe he's going to be coming out tomorrow, which to me is not really a good look, but who am I?
All right.
I think Hillary did enough, Bill. Hillary did enough.
Right.
Okay, I've got a big night ahead. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey. Hello, Chicago. Yeah. All right. Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah. We're feeling it here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope. The anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day. The chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, hope is making a comeback. To be honest, I am realizing that until recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings, that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future. And for me, that mourning has also been mixed with my own personal grief. The last time I was here in my hometown was to memorialize my mother, the woman who showed me the meaning of hard work and humility and decency, the woman who set my moral compass high and showed me the power of my own voice. Folks, I still feel her loss so profoundly. I wasn't even sure if I'd be steady enough to stand before you tonight, but my heart compelled me to be here because of the sense of duty that I feel to honor her memory and to remind us all not to squander the sacrifices our elders made to give us a better future. You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation. The belief that if you do unto others, if you love thy neighbor, if you work and scrape and sacrifice, it will pay off. If not for you, then maybe for your children or your grandchildren. You see, those values have been passed on through family farms and factory towns, through tree-lined streets and crowded tenements, through prayer groups and National Guard units and social studies classrooms. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath. Kamala Harris and I built our lives on those same foundational values. Even though our mothers grew up an ocean apart, they shared the same belief in the promise of this country. That's why her mother moved here from India at 19. It's why she taught Kamala about justice, about the obligation to lift others up, about our responsibility to give more than we take. She'd often tell her daughter, don't sit around and complain about things, do something. So, with that voice in her head, Kamala went out and she worked hard in school, graduating from an HBCU, earning her law degree at a state school. And then she went on to work for the people, fighting to hold lawbreakers accountable, strengthening the rule of law, fighting to get folks better wages, cheaper prescription drugs, a good education, decent health care, child care, elder care. From a middle-class household, Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America. My girl, Kamala Harris, is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency. And she is one of the most dignified. A tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother too. The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, how you worship, or what's in your bank account, we all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life. All of our contributions deserve to be accepted and valued. Because no one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. No one. Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth. If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down. We get to work In America, we do something. And throughout her entire life, that's what we've seen from Kamala Harris. The steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. It couldn't be more obvious. Of the two major candidates in this race, only Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great. Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. Wait. I want to know. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs? Look, it's his same old con. His same old con. Doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. Look, because cutting our healthcare, taking away our freedom to control our bodies, the freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did, those things are not going to improve the health outcomes of our wives, mothers, and daughters. Shutting down the Department of Education, banning our books, none of that will prepare our kids for the future. Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love. Look, that doesn't make anybody's life better. Instead, it only makes us small. And let me tell you this, going small is never the answer. Going small is the opposite of what we teach our kids. Going small is petty, it's unhealthy, and quite frankly, it's unpresidential. So, why would any of us accept this from anyone seeking our highest office? Why would we normalize that type of backward leadership? Doing so only demeans and cheapens our politics. It only serves to further discourage good, big-hearted people from wanting to get involved at all. America, our parents taught us better than that, and we deserve so much better than that. That's why we must do everything in our power to elect two of those good, big-hearted people. There is no other choice than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. No other choice. But as we embrace this renewed sense of hope, let us not forget the despair we have felt. Let us not forget what we are up against. Yes, Kamala and Tim are doing great now. We're loving it. They're packing arenas across the country. Folks are energized. We are feeling good. But remember, there are still so many people who are desperate for a different outcome, who are ready to question and criticize every move Kamala makes, who are eager to spread those lies, who don't want to vote for a woman, who will continue to prioritize building their wealth over ensuring that everyone has enough. So no matter how good we feel tonight or tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be an uphill battle. So folks, we cannot be our own worst enemies. No. See, because the minute something goes wrong, the minute a lie takes hold, folks, we cannot start wringing our hands. We cannot get a Goldilocks complex about whether everything is just right. And we cannot indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected. Kamala and Tim, they have lived amazing lives. And I am confident that they will lead with compassion, inclusion, and grace. But they are still only human. They are not perfect. And like all of us, they will make mistakes. But luckily, y'all, this is not just on them. No, this is up to us, all of us, to be the solution that we seek. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy. It's up to us to remember what Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain, do something. So if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we will, we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what? We only have 2.5 months, y'all, to get this done. Only 11 weeks to make sure every single person we know is registered and has a voting plan. So we cannot afford for anyone America to sit on their hands and wait to be called. Don't complain if no one from the campaign has specifically reached out to you to ask you for your support. There is simply no time for that kind of foolishness. You know what you need to do. So consider this to be your official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something. Because you all, this election is going to be close. In some states, just a handful, listen to me, a handful of votes in every precinct could decide the winner. So we need to vote in numbers that erase any doubt. We need to overwhelm any effort to suppress us. Our fate is in our hands. In 77 days, we have the power to turn our country away from the fear, division, and smallness of the past. We have the power to marry our hope with our action. We have the power to pay forward the love, sweat, and sacrifice of our mothers and fathers and all those who came before us. We did it before, y'all, and we sure can do it again. Let us work like our lives depend on it. And let us keep moving our country forward and go higher, yes, always higher than we've ever gone before as we elect the next president and vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you all. God bless.
Baby.
Woo!
Listen.
First things first. Hey, y'all in the chat. Hey, Miss LaKendra. Happy birthday to your son. Congratulations on 20. And hey, Misunderstood. Thank y'all for dropping down today. Thank y'all for being here this rising.
And be safe on your way to work and have a good day.
Yes. Happy hump day.
Mhm. Baby, can I just say something real quick before we So
Come on.
last night was a super full moon. Super full moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's 77 days until Election Day, and they bring the only person who could, without a shadow of a doubt, beat Donald Trump, come up here and give her speech and endorsement for Kamala.
Yep.
I know we giggle and joke about the tinfoil hat, but if y'all don't think that these people use the tools that the Most High gave all of us, I don't know, because you can use it for good or for bad, left hand, right hand. You can,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think it was really interesting how race is a huge factor in this right now.
Yep. Yep.
It's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because I understand the oppression of my people, but I also understand when someone's playing in my faith
Oh,
or
absolutely.
playing in my trauma, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's pandering.
Absolutely. That's how
Pandering
I
to
feel.
votes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So, and they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, and they had the right people to do it with.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I haven't heard from the Obamas in almost a decade, Godmomma. Not on any political shit, right?
Right. They did that movie with Netflix. What was
Mm-hmm.
it? This Is the End, or the
Yeah.
last?
Mm-hmm.
They did that movie, and I think Michelle maybe wrote a book or something of that nature, but as far as political, no, I haven't. And, I'm sure somebody can correct us where we're
Right.
wrong, but I haven't really heard them until today, or which would have been last night, 'cause I fell asleep. I couldn't. Mm,
Yeah, there was no staying up
wait.
for this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yes, this is oh, well. Moving right along to
Moving
the
right
next.
along, y'all. They got us, y'all. They got us. They got
And
us.
people were crying, and, that's what made me, like, really put all of this together, like, ugh,
I
people
said, is this the
outside
Michael Jackson
protesting,
concert?
people
Okay.
going to jail. I think, It Mel, he's a podcaster who does trials, live chases, things like that, and he was streaming earlier about a standoff, like, 2 blocks away.
Yes.
Rich Rise will. So it's just y'all know anytime a full moon is in play, right? Police activity is high, ERs are high, like,
Yep.
people do some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in
Yep.
here just in a mega center, just anyways, girl. Let me take this hat off and move on from
Okay.
Mr. Barack Obama.
Oh, former president. Child, and if it weren't for the war crimes, I'd be right up here with him. Like, come on, Obama.
Yes, I would be too, but everyone wants to keep pushing over the drone bomb drops he did in Syria on innocent women and children like they're doing in Gaza right now. Everybody wants to just, "Oh, no, that didn't happen," or, "Oh, he had to do that." No, he didn't have to do a fast thing, period. Please
Correct.
hit the like.
Between him
Thank
and
you.
Hillary, they could have really done some justice for the democracy of our country that they claim.
Yeah.
Like they said, so we're at 76 days now, right?
Mhm.
76 days, y'all, till we see. And again, if y'all been keeping up with us like we've been keeping up with y'all, they have plans for Donald Trump on September 18th.
Right.
Okay? So, let's just be on our P's and Q's, y'all. You can wear your tinfoil hat, your saran wrap hat, you can be bald-headed, I don't care, but just be on your P's and Q's.
You can be a nothing ass bitch. We don't care. Just
We
be on
don't
your
care.
PCQ.
Mhm. Okay? Mind that discernment when it don't feel right, because it ain't
Period.
right. I didn't say this earlier, but Michelle looked good, y'all. I love her melanated skin. She looked good to me. I said,
She
okay,
really
come.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, she looked happy. She looked rejuvenated. She looking better than Kamala.
Right.
Hello, Chicago! Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. All right, that's enough. Thank you. Chicago, it's good to be home. It is good to be home, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up. I am feeling ready to go. Even if I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama. I am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible. Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her.
someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you. The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. It's been 16 years since I had the honor of accepting this party's nomination for president. And I know that's hard to believe because I have not aged a bit. But it's true.
I like him. I do.
And looking back,
I don't like all
I
of
can
them.
say without question that my first big decision as your nominee turned out to be one of my best. And that was asking Joe Biden to serve by my side as vice president. Other than some common Irish blood, Joe and I come from different backgrounds, but we became brothers. And as we worked together for 8, sometimes pretty tough years, what I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts, his experience. It was his empathy and his decency and his hard-earned resilience, his unshakable belief that everyone in this country deserves a fair shot. And over the last 4 years, those are the values America has needed most. At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were sick and dying, we needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right. At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery. 15 million jobs, higher wages, lower healthcare costs. At a time when the other party had turned into a cult of personality, we needed a leader who was steady and brought people together and was selfless enough to do the rarest thing there is in politics, putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country. History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend.
When were we in great danger, though?
The torches.
When they took office. When they took office, that's when, friend.
So they're saying January 5th, or January 6th, we were in great danger. That's what they're saying. That's what they're, okay. Rich Rice, Miss Crayons. Because I keep getting confused because some white men and women storming the Capitol, I don't feel like the country is in danger for that. Like how does that make the entire country? Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just really confused. Because I think
there's multiple other situations I felt more in danger than January 6th, but what it was is why they can. This is my opinion now. I think the reason why they consider that is because they saw people coming together to overthrow the government that day.
Gotcha. Right. That's what I think.
That's why they consider it such a threat, because the American people said, we're not going and let us show you. And that's a huge threat to them. The same shit that happened in Minneapolis, during the COVID shit and all that. We'll get to that later this week with the vice presidents. Yeah, when the people rebel, trust me, it's a threat to these folks.
I just want to make sure we was on the same page. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Obama.
Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in. And make no mistake, it will be a fight. For all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes, this will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't, do not boo, vote. He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom since it won't affect his life. And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. It is one of the oldest tricks in politics, from a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a person who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and a champion. As you heard from Michelle, Kamala was not born into privilege. She had to work for what she's got. And she actually cares about what other people are going through. She's not the neighbor running the leaf blower. She's the neighbor rushing over to help when you need a hand. As a prosecutor, Kamala stood up for children who had been victims of sexual abuse. As an attorney general of the most populous state in the country, she fought big banks and for-profit colleges, securing billions of dollars for the people they had scammed. After the home mortgage crisis, she pushed me and my administration hard to make sure homeowners got a fair settlement. Didn't matter that I was a Democrat. Didn't matter that she had knocked on doors for my campaign in Iowa. She was going to fight to get as much relief as possible for the families who deserved it. As vice president, she helped take on the drug companies to cap the cost of insulin, lower the cost of healthcare, give families with kids a tax cut. And she is running for president with real plans to lower costs even more and protect Medicare and Medicaid and sign a law to guarantee every woman's right to make her own healthcare decisions. In other words, Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours. As president, she won't just cater to her own supporters and punish those who refuse to kiss the ring or bend the knee. She'll work on behalf of every American. That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she will have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I love this guy. Tim is the kind of person who should be in politics. Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached football, took care of his neighbors. He knows who he is, and he knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet, and they have been through some stuff. They have been through some stuff. That's right. Together, Kamala and Tim have kept faith with America's central story. A story that says we are all created equal. All of us endowed with certain inalienable rights, that everyone deserves a chance, that even when we don't agree with each other, we can find a way to live with each other. That's Kamala's vision. That's Tim's vision. That's the Democratic Party's vision. And our job over the next 11 weeks is to convince as many people as possible to vote for that vision. Now, it won't be easy. The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward to meet the challenges of today. And Kamala understands this. She knows, for example, that if we want to make it easier for more young people to buy a home, we need to build more units and clear away some of the outdated laws and regulations that made it harder to build homes for working people in this country. That is a priority, and she's put out a bold new plan to do just that. On healthcare, we should all be proud of the enormous progress that we've made through the Affordable Care Act, providing millions of people access to affordable coverage, protecting millions more from unscrupulous insurance practices. And I noticed, by the way, that since it's become popular, they don't call it Obamacare no more. But Kamala knows we can't stop there, which is why she'll keep working to limit out-of-pocket costs. Kamala knows that if we want to help people get ahead, we need to put a college degree within reach of more Americans. But she also knows college shouldn't be the only ticket to the middle class. We need to follow the lead of governors like Tim Walz, who said, if you've got the skills and the drive, you shouldn't need a degree to work for state government. And in this new economy, we need a president who actually cares about the millions of people all across this country who wake up every single day to do the essential, often thankless work, to care for our sick, to clean our streets, to deliver our packages. We need a president who will stand up for their right to bargain for better wages and working conditions. And Kamala will be that president. Yes, she can. Yes, she can.
I would much rather hear Kamala.
Harris
I haven't
Walz
heard Kamala
administration-
say anything about this. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I just haven't heard, I hear everyone else saying what Kamala has planned, but I haven't heard Kamala say these things that she has planned. Like, I keep hearing about this housing thing that they have planned for middle class, low income families, but I haven't heard or seen what they're talking about, And I think most people are aware and awake to that thought that you can't just come out here and say what you're going to do. We have to physically see these things on paper.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've heard her discuss it in passing, and when she does her little, not the DNC, but her little rallies, her little side quest, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But again, nothing concrete. And what's the other side of it? I do believe, we'll get into that, I think, when we do VPs. She was asked, where is this money coming from? And she gave a very roundabout answer as far as, oh, well, we can pull it from here, or we can do this. If anything, she said something about the child tax credit would basically benefit the economy if we gave people $6,000 the first year of the child's birth. Or life, that it would boost the economy, it would strengthen the community. But again, that wasn't giving us I need numbers.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now, I know we can afford it because we can afford a lot of other bullshit. I know we can afford it, but it needs to be put on paper for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely a politician's answer is what she was giving. And that was just from a regular journalist asking her. I think she was getting ready to get on the, or she was either getting off of her little bus or getting ready to get on. They caught her real quick and asked her about it.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it didn't sound like it was going. If anything, to me, what it sounds like, it's going to increase a lot of things. We're already at a crisis, so we don't need to add to it. Let's not add fuel to the fire. Okay. We need
Right.
to dim down some of the fires we have going on. And pulling this ceasefire, that'd be a great fire to put out. Let's start
Mhm.
there. Okay. If y'all are talking about regulations and all, can we start regulating y'all and y'all spending? Don't worry about us. Okay. Consumers gonna do what consumers do.
Absolutely.
Can help us move past some of the tired old debates that keep stifling progress. Because at their core, Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit. They understand that we can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents. Just like we can keep our streets safe while also building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve and eliminating bias, that will make it better for everybody. Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, they don't see the world that way. For them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss. For them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please, whether it's fire workers trying to organize a union or put poison in our rivers or avoid paying taxes like everybody else has to do. Well, we have a broader idea of freedom. We believe in the freedom to provide for your family if you're willing to work hard. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and send your kids to school without worrying if they'll come home. We believe that true freedom gives each of us the right to make decisions about our own life, how we worship, what our family looks like, how many kids we have, who we marry. And we believe that freedom requires us to recognize that other people have the freedom to make choices that are different than ours. That's okay. That's the America Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believe in. An America where we, the people, includes everyone. Because that's the only way this American experiment works. And despite what our politics might suggest, I think most Americans understand that. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by. It's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do. That sense of mutual respect has to be part of our message. Our politics have become so polarized these days that all of us across the political spectrum seem so quick to assume the worst in others, unless they agree with us on every single issue. We start thinking that the only way to win is to scold and shame and out-yell the other side. And after a while, regular folks just tune out, or they don't bother to vote. Now, that approach may work for the politicians who just want attention and thrive on division, but it won't work for us. To make progress on the things we care about, the things that really affect people's lives, we need to remember that we've all got our blind spots and contradictions and prejudices, and that if we want to win over those who aren't yet ready to support our candidates, we need to listen to their concerns and maybe learn something in the process. After all, if a parent or grandparent occasionally says something that makes us cringe, we don't automatically assume they're bad people. We recognize that the world is moving fast, that they need time and maybe a little encouragement to catch up. Our fellow citizens deserve the same grace we hope they'll extend to us. That's how we can build a true democratic majority, one that can get things done. And by the way, that does not just matter to the people in this country. The rest of the world is watching to see if we can actually pull this off. No nation, no society has ever tried to build a democracy as big and as diverse as ours before. One that includes people that over decades have come from every corner of the globe. One where our allegiances and our community are defined not by race or blood, but by a common creed. And that's why when we uphold our values, the world's a little brighter. When we don't, the world's a little dimmer. And dictators and autocrats feel emboldened. And over time, we become less safe. We shouldn't be the world's policemen, and we can't eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world. But America can be and must be a force for good, discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom, brokering peace. That's what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most Americans. I know these ideas can feel pretty naive right now. We live in a time of such confusion and rancor, with a culture that puts a premium on things that don't last. Money, fame, status, likes. We chase the approval of strangers on our phones. We build all manner of walls and fences around ourselves, and then we wonder why we feel so alone. We don't trust each other as much because we don't take the time to know each other. And in that space between us, politicians and algorithms teach us to caricature each other, and troll each other, and fear each other. But here's the good news, Chicago. All across America, in big cities and small towns, away from all the noise, the ties that bind us together are still there. We still coach Little League and look out for our elderly neighbors. We still feed the hungry in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples. We share the same pride when our Olympic athletes compete for the gold. Because the vast majority of us do not want to live in a country that's bitter and divided. We want something better. We want to be better. And the joy and the excitement that we're seeing around this campaign tells us we're not alone. You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this these past few months because, as Michelle mentioned, this summer we lost her mom, Ms. Marion Robinson. And I don't know that anybody has ever loved their mother-in-law any more than I love mine. Mostly it's because she was funny and wise and the least pretentious person I knew. That, and she always defended me with Michelle when I messed up. I'd hide behind her. But I also think one of the reasons Mary and I became so close was she reminded me of my grandmother, the woman who helped raise me as a child. And on the surface, the two of them did not have a lot in common. One was a black woman from right here, south side of Chicago, right down the way. Went to Englewood High School. The other was a little old white lady born in a tiny town called Piru, Kansas. I know there aren't that many people from Piru. And yet they shared a basic outlook on life. They were strong, smart, resourceful women, full of common sense, who, regardless of the barriers they encountered, and women growing up in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they encountered barriers. They still went about their business without fuss or complaint and provided an unshakable foundation of love for their children and their grandchildren. In that sense, they both represented an entire generation of working people who, through war and depression, discrimination and limited opportunity, helped build this country. A lot of them toiled every day at jobs that were often too small for them and didn't pay a lot. They willingly went without just to keep a roof over their families' heads, just to give their children something better. But they knew what was true. They knew what mattered. Things like honesty and integrity, kindness and hard work. They weren't impressed with braggarts or bullies. They didn't think putting other people down lifted you up or made you strong. They didn't spend a lot of time obsessing about what they didn't have. Instead, they appreciated what they did. They found pleasure in simple things, a card game with friends, a good meal, and laughter around the kitchen table, helping others, and most of all, seeing their children do things and go places that they would have never imagined for themselves. Whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or somewhere in between, we have all had people like that in our lives. People like Kamala's parents, who crossed oceans because they believed in the promise of America. People like Tim's parents, who taught him about the importance of service. Good, hard-working people who weren't famous or powerful, but who managed in countless ways to lead this country just a little bit better than they found it. As much as any policy or program, I believe that's what we yearn for. A return to an America where we work together, and look out for each other. A restoration of what Lincoln called, on the eve of civil war, our bonds of affection. An America that taps what he called the better angels of our nature. That is what this election is about. And I believe that's why if we each do our part over the next 77 days, if we knock on doors, if we make phone calls, if we talk to our friends, if we listen to our neighbors, if we work like we've never worked before, if we hold firm to our convictions, we will elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States and Tim Walz as the next vice president of the United States. We will elect leaders up and down the ballot who will fight for the hopeful, forward-looking America we all believe in. And together, we too will build a country that is more secure and more just, more equal, and more free. So let's get to work. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Well, all right, Mr. Obama. And that's on that. And I still did not find Bill, so I do not think he joined last night. I'm sure they'll be packing him out soon enough. Soon enough. So that was interesting. Again, we just wanted to share with y'all what we had missed and just kind of keeping an eyes on the streets. Again, I haven't seen a candidate that is that has really, wowed me or changed my mind. So I'm still in the not voting department. That could change in 76 days, though. Who knows? Okay.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I blacked out a few times, blanked out during his little speech. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I had to go use the bathroom there for a second, but it was just, I wish Obama would have kind of shortened that up a little bit because it got a little, what are we here for? Are you
Listen.
running for president again? Like,
I don't know if y'all heard him catch where he said the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Experiment. Oh, okay. Y'all just sliding in words now.
Yep.
Experiment. Oh, so y'all just here playing with people, pulling strings. Okay. Interesting.
Hashtag do not vote 2024.
That's
Promise
right.
you.
And then another thing that stood out was when he was talking about the elder generation, how they just lay down and took it and they were happy about it.
Right.
What?
Yeah, that kind of made me feel a certain type of way, like we're just supposed to be okay with the crumbs and do what we will with that because no one else has complained. So why are you complaining now?
But at the same time, if you get that feeling of losing hope and that morbid feeling of what?
Go vote. Don't boo. Go vote.
I did like that one. I did.
And then when he made the reference to Trump having this weird obsession, his words, not mine, to the size of crowds, and he did his hands like big, small, Obama was definitely up there throwing shots, and the people were there for it. They loved every bit of it. And I agree with kind of what we were talking about before we hit live. You said, I think a person on TikTok was saying how this is all just a show, and that's what we like. We don't care about policies.
Here
We don't
for the
care about
theatrics.
yeah, and that's what it shows. We're just here for the theatrics, and that's fine. That's fine.
And Obama's endorsement, isn't gonna be taken lightly by some people.
No.
The same way there's super diehard Trumpers, there's still some super diehard, Obama's fans.
Right.
Um, you know, Trump just
Eh,
needs to stick with policy. And I mean, at this point, I don't think policy is going to be enough. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure how concerned I should be. Um, but we'll see. What's to come is going to come regardless of how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, Obama made the reference that if that Trump says that if you don't vote for him, basically in a nutshell, you're not a patriot, but forgetting to mention the countless of
Veterans.
people, veterans and people who are being told, well, you're not black enough, or your black card is revoked because you're not voting for Kamala. Uh, w-
Or Biden.
Just
Biden started that too. You're not black
right.
if you don't vote for me. What?
Just as much as one side is on both sides. There are people that are kicking their own children out of the home because they are not voting for a specific person. There are
Mm,
families that are disowning other family members because they are not voting the way they want them to vote.
mhm,
That's my only concern, is that we as citizens are allowing this to create division inside of our home now.
mhm.
We're willing to throw away our sons and daughters and aunts and uncles and grandparents and mothers and fathers over a politician
Mhm.
that's not really going to do
Who is
anything for
wearing a
you.
suit that costs more than your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, up in your face playing with you.
But that's a flex, though. Some people see that as a flex. My suit costs more than your mortgage, bitch. Like, okay, and you're in more debt than me. Thank you.
I mean, but
Weird
you're a
flex. Isn't that
politician.
what
You're
the kids
supposed
say?
to be. I want y'all coming out in just a garment, a one piece garment, like how they do in the Saudi Arabia people. Just come out in one piece.
Period.
Okay. Y'all ain't got to come out in rags or all that, but humble it, tone it down, bring it down a notch.
Mhm.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed Bernie. Um, it is refreshing to me to hear how polished the Obamas are. I do
Mm.
miss that in politics.
Yes.
Um, However, that's done. That's long gone.
Right. I feel like the veil, so to speak, in politics really kind of got shattered after Obama, because he brought so much hope. And it was interesting to me that him and Michelle kept saying hope, 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 because that was one of his campaigning
Hmm. That was his slogan.
words. Yeah,
Hmm.
hope and change. So, and when he didn't bring that hope and change to the people that looked like him, uh, a lot of people's reality or perception of politics changed.
Yeah. Yep. And what's really, I need to hear more from the Social Security standpoints. There's just a lot of things that are up that aren't getting addressed. I feel like they should. And Nikki, I agree. Hey, lie to your parents and say you're voting for, yeah, sure, I'm voting for Biden. Sure, or Kamala, sure. Or I'm
Right.
voting for Trump or whatever. Yeah. They
Right.
don't need to know who you're voting for. It's none of their damn business.
Mm-mm. And when people ask me, "Who are you voting for?" I tend to kind of shut that down. Like, "Look, that's private. It's not a public. If I want to talk about it publicly, yes, but I'm not going to be forced into telling you who I'm going to vote for, because I'll probably tell you absolutely no one, like I have since I turned 18. Who are you voting for? Nobody. The fuck?
Okay. Or just,
Nobody.
hand them the Uno reverse.
And I came into this like, dang, is this going to be the first year that I am going to actually cast my vote because I feel like I have to,
Mhm.
Is this going to be in, as I'm slowly counting down these, as we're 76 days, I'm like, yeah, no, back to normal procedure. back to normal procedure. I am not. I took into account going to the ballot and writing no one, but I don't even know if I want to participate in that bullshit either. You know?
And another thing I picked up on is there was a lady who said she has never voted. You know, maybe I'll cue that story up for sometime next week or whenever. But a lady said she had never voted, but it had shown that I don't know how they did it. I'll have to look into it because I want to see if anybody's thrown a vote down in my name. It had shown
Right.
that she had voted in every election that she was legally allowed to. And she's like, I've never been to the ballot. I've never. So I want to look into that too.
Yes, we need to look into that because I have never cast a vote ever.
And yeah, look up I'm sure there's a website where you can go voter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, same here, crayons for judges and things like that. Sheriffs, I'm big on that. Huge on
Presidential?
local.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
So, and once upon a time, I was a fan of Obama, and I remember Jody saying, "Oh, he's gonna crush this. He's gonna murder the country. He's gonna," well, Jody was so anti-Obama, and it wasn't until like the 6th year I was like, "Oh wait, what?" So yeah, I can't say I've never voted. I just can say I won't be voting this time. Like I said, unless Jesus Christ himself is on the ballot. And I'm going to stick to it. You want to know who I'm voting for? Jesus, the son of Mary. Have you heard of him? Let's get to know him. I can break down his policies right now.
Right
hey, Buddy
now.
Lee. What's up, Buddy Lee?
Buddy. Yeah. I don't know about voting for Jesus because you have to prove a lot of things to me to be Jesus. But when Trump was talking, the states kind of do states. We go back to a republic, basically. I could fall in line with that, where your state, you did your own laws, but maybe that's because I live in a commonwealth. Where we abide by the constitutional laws, but if somebody wants to throw a law in, they can.
Right.
It can be a good thing or a bad thing, yes. But but when states are allowed to choose what they want to do, in my opinion and in my experience, the state itself kind of runs smoother. The rest of the nation is kind of in shambles.
Yep.
But the state itself runs very smooth, in times of crisis. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. Leave me alone. Kentucky says that. Leave me alone. They the gateway. They've always been the, let me do my own thing state.
Right. It's you. Who else? Pennsylvania's Commonwealth. I think there's only like a handful of Commonwealth states.
Yeah, there used to be 8, or 9, but a couple have dropped out.
Yeah. Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Virginia, those little areas over there. Yeah, Commonwealth. Which I'm in agreement for. In certain cases, I do think, a lot of stuff needs to go back to states. I do.
Right.
Let the people of where they live, let them dictate. I don't need people from Ohio dictating what I'm doing over here. Okay. And I don't want to dictate what they're doing over there. Vice versa.
Right.
When it comes to gun laws and things like that, I don't want to dictate, let your state do as they please. And if I agree with that, then I have the option to move to those states. So, we'll see, y'all. There's 5 Commonwealths. Okay, yeah, I thought it was just a handful.
I don't know who is supposed to speak tonight at the DNC. Last I heard, though, I think Kamala and Walz is on a tour. They were in Michigan or something like that, a campaign rally tour.
Yeah,
but I have no idea who's supposed to be there tonight. If it's anybody of important significance will be maybe live later on tonight or recap tomorrow rising again. Rich
Yeah.
Rise Auntie.
What's up, Auntie?
Just trying to keep a Rich Rise Lion Pelt. Just trying to keep a an unbiased as far as watching. Now I know our commentary can get a little biased. Both sides of the countdown
Mm-hmm.
to election day. What
Mm-hmm.
both parties are
Or bringing.
campaigning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as all I've heard is race is an issue and
Women's rights.
women's rights and felonies. That's all I've really heard.
Mm-hmm. And there are some commonalities between the two. That's why I get upset when we're so distant, because there's a lot of commonalities
Mm-hmm.
as far as what they're saying. Now, they could just be shoving it down our throat. But we got to find a common ground here, people. At the end of the day, we're all Americans. We got to find some common ground.
Right. Absolutely.
All of us are going to get old. Right. All of us are going to get older, watch our kids grow up, or, maybe you don't have kids, but watch the younger generation come in and take over. Let's set them up for success.
Right.
And that starts with our votes and who we put in office on all levels.
Mm-hmm.
We got to quit thinking about ourselves. I know we're at a time where we are strung out on greed and, like I say, gluttony of all sorts. We got to think about the future, guys, or don't be greedy and, take it all. Yeah. There's a lot of pandering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pandering and propaganda. Okay.
I think Misunderstood said it earlier in the chat. She wishes they would just stop pushing fear so much.
Mm-hmm.
The fear pumping of, and it's on both sides, really. If you don't vote for me, this is bad is going to happen. If you don't vote for me, this bad is going to happen. Instead of just addressing what policies you are going to change or create. We can't get anything but this damn circus show.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't know. I don't know if Kamala's going to come back and speak some more. I mean, I think she has to in order to accept her nomination.
Yeah, she's got to accept it. Mm-hmm.
But maybe during the debate we'll hear more policy, but that's going to be up to the questionnaire whether he's going to ask those types of questions or he's going to remain petty like the last one did.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to bring up the foreign aid that the people have been asking, to stop.
Yeah.
So
I agree. The fear mongering it is a deflection.
mm-hmm.
It
Absolutely.
is. Don't tell me about what I need to fear. Tell me how to prepare.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because I'm really not a scary person. I like to be prepared. That's why I want to see what's going on. I want it to be like this. I want to hear from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And with the debate, Godmomma, September 4th is what they had it scheduled. But I've heard, again, from a decent source that Kamala has stepped back from a debate for the September 4th one. So
she said that she would only do it on the 10th in
mm-hmm.
Trump because I don't know. It's just, it's a bunch of back and forth pony show at this point. And I don't know.
I mean, they're also throwing out that Kamala has a drinking problem.
Right. But they're also
I would probably have a drinking problem.
Exactly. And Twitter's throwing out the fact that Trump knew he rented or didn't know he rented Epstein's plane.
Yeah.
Now Twitter's throwing out that his allegations of his activities with minors.
Mhm.
So a lot of mud is being thrown on both sides.
Mhm.
But things are starting to come out about Trump that I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And there's quite a bit of deep diving on that. And there's legal paperwork for that. So it's not
mhm,
even uh I, it's truth. I don't think posting somebody's truth is mudslinging. Um, but it's just the timing of when you throw it out,
right.
right? Um,
Mhm,
yeah. I really think people weren't expecting Trump to get back momentum. I really think the judicial court hearings and stuff that he has going on, I mean, could still be it could still be a reason for Trump not being elected.
absolutely. Right.
So, I mean, this show is not over, y'all. 76 days. Let's see what they're gonna bring. And for those of y'all who might need an abortion, book you a flight to Chicago. They got you.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Since we're out here, fighting to keep women's rights, they are walking it like they're talking it. They got a mobile. If you need a vasectomy, go fly your ass out to Chicago. Okay. They got you. Okay.
But why does women's rights always fall back to
To abortion.
unaliving babies?
Well, I like
Why?
that. I do like that Obama brought up equal pay. I said, okay, here we go. Now
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I heard more from what's Bernie Sanders,
Mhm.
Michelle, and Obama. I heard more. I heard a lot more thing. I don't know that I would be willing to lean towards had it been coming from Kamala's mouth. Um, that's just my take on it.
Right. Right.
Considering she's been playing. I don't know what Biden's doing. Okay, I honestly, when he showed up the first night and he was full of energy, where was that energy for Trump? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if she's running the house right now while he's getting shots of adrenaline and flash therapy. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, Biden was very interesting because he was amped up. He had the most girl. Like, where has this been this whole time?
All right.
Where has this been? Every time I see you, you're stumbling, you're falling, you don't know where you're going. And granted, his wife did have to come and tell him how to get off the stage. Towards
Mm-hmm.
the end, he did start, glitching out, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't really think he's running the show right now. And
Mm-mm.
that's why I keep asking, and I will continuously keep asking, if Kamala and Walls can make all of these changes as opposed to lowering grocery prices, lowering gas prices, why cannot she do that right now? Why can you not show the people now? If you know that this is a hard road, this is an uphill battle, we're going to have to vote, 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 vote. They're going to oppress us. Why
Come on.
don't you show the people now? Because bullshit talks. Me going to the grocery store and my $400 bill turning back into $200, that talks.
That's incentive right there. I call that incentive for
Thank
votes.
you.
Okay.
Me driving out here to go get some gas and it's back under $2, that's an incentive for me to go vote for you.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Not you sitting here giving me a hope and a dream and a change. I've heard this speech time and time again.
Ooh, Lion Pelt, come on now. Come on. The standards are low.
Extremely low.
Are low.
And she says, if you want to keep women's rights, you have to stop allowing them to pass bills that allow any born male to identify as women whenever it's convenient. Absolutely. That does negate women's rights. Yes. Which no one, That's a different policy or topic, but
Not
I
really.
don't have a problem with transgenders. I have a problem with people who want to be transgender because they want to get the privilege of being transgender. We talk about light skin privilege, white privilege, but we don't talk about
Trans privilege.
trans privilege
Mm-hmm.
and how a man who still has his penis, still has a full beard, but
Chest hair.
decides ball hair, butt hair, decides he wants to put on a wig, makeup, dress, and then come tell me that I'm a fish. I'm not a real woman. What is a real woman? Define these things. Your period doesn't matter. That is dangerous territory to women's rights. Because no matter how you want to look at it, it's still misogynistic in tone.
Absolutely.
It's still telling a woman who bleeds every month, who produces children, whether she does or doesn't, or has the capabilities of doing it or doesn't, that she is nothing but makeup, wig, dress.
A chest feeder is what they call us.
Yeah. But again, you heard Michelle and Obama say, we want our children to be able to be who they want to be, love who they want to love. Again, I would say that's dangerous territory.
Yep.
Because we understand where this children love who they want to love is going.
And the fact that they were using children, right?
Yes.
Let your kids love who they love. I'm not letting my kid love who they want to love quite yet. When they can start paying for their bills, they can love who they want to love. Right now, I need them to focus on curriculum. Okay?
Exactly. Right now, I need them to focus on what they're going to do to take care of themselves for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them focusing on bringing in another person who is either going to contribute or take away from that. No, I have to first teach my child how to love themselves, who they are, what they're capable of. It's like, and that's why a lot of people say the Democrats are demonic, or because they're always bringing children into it in weird ways. Let your child love who they want to love. Let your child be what they want to be. You're right. Yes, but not in that weirdo way that y'all talking about. Not in that y'all want to have pride parades, booty hole naked with my children out there. No. That is not letting your child be free and love who they love. That is exposing your child to things that their minds are not ready for. Grooming. I don't understand any of. That's why it's always been hard for me to get fully behind Democratic Party, because of their how they view and want to take away parental rights, basically.
Mm-hmm.
When it all boils down to it, that's what it comes down to.
That's right.
Taking away the parents' rights.
That's Kamala's VP right there. That's one of his standing policies. Okay. And we will get into these VPs. I know a lot of people say VPs don't matter. You sure about that? You sure about that? Okay. What's up, Reef? It is perversion.
I agree. I agree, Auntie. Everybody does want to pretend like they have no clue how we got here, in the sense of women's rights being, what would the term be, being basically on the line again.
We're not even getting equal pay. And this is one reason I'm kind of like, you know what, let these trans women come in, because with their misogynistic privilege, okay, say that with love, but with your misogyny, maybe y'all can push women's rights further than we ever further than
Maybe.
we ever could. I don't know. I'm just saying, weirder shit has happened. So if it takes a man in a dress to get our rights restored, well, damn it, I'm in.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Oh,
No, but for real, like, but that's what's happening though. Men in dresses and men in suits are making the laws for women's rights. And, this has been an ongoing problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's been an ongoing problem. And I
Yeah.
understand where Auntie is coming from, because we've even went down this rabbit hole ourselves in the whole trans woman community and trying to gain a better understanding and how we got here and
Yes.
who quote unquote whose fault is it, right? And I think we're really as a whole, even men are reaping the benefit or I won't even say the benefit, the consequences of those actions right now. Because we haven't had real women, natural born women stand in power in abundance to fight against this situation that's happening. Someone who's not afraid to say no, you're not like me. Someone who's not afraid to say that you calling me a fish is a hate crime.
Yeah.
We don't have very many of those types of allies.
Correct. People are afraid of cancel culture. They're afraid of getting blacklisted. They're afraid of, look at what they're doing to Candace Owens right now. The Tate brothers were just raided again last night, y'all. And I know they're out of the country, but still.
Girl.
There's not a lot of people willing to go anti the system.
And that's interesting that the Tate brothers got raided last night after they just did that sit down with Candace.
And we should listen to that, Godmomma. I don't know when we'll have time to crank that in, but I think we should. Because it was very interesting. Now, these were just podcasters. These weren't any politically affiliated people. But it was interesting. It was very, and it got intense. It did. It got intense there for a little bit. And then not even 2 days later, bloop, they're getting raided.
Right.
So,
And it's probably something that we may not even be able to keep up here just because of the Candace knew what she was doing. She knew she had to take that specific conversation to X, Twitter, because Elon wouldn't censor her. Elon wouldn't flag her down. Elon wouldn't shadow ban or any of those other things to her channel. So I enjoyed the conversation a lot. It gave me a new understanding to what is really happening.
Yeah. And a lot of people were calling it anti-Semitic. So that's why it wasn't addressed over here on YouTube. And that's probably why we won't keep it up. But maybe that's something we can play for y'all and let y'all listen in to what the Tate brothers had to say. And I'm not a big Andrew Tate or his brother. I can't remember his brother's name. Tristan. I'm not a big fan of theirs. However, they have a backbone. And I respect that. I don't have to respect, what you do with your backbone. I just respect the fact that you have one.
Right.
There's no legal definition of hate speech. Child.
Right. At this point, it's like wherever you're, depending upon where you're at.
Right. Depending on where you're at. Yeah, people will continue to support the instrument of their own demise. I agree. And they seem
Yeah.
happy to do it. Just happy about it. You saw them up there in the, well, I don't know if you saw them personally, Auntie, but we saw them in the crowd like they were at a damn Michael Jackson concert, just tearing up and waving their hands around for the Obama. It's like, girl, calm down.
Right.
You heard this
Right.
man say he a little rusty. He ain't been around. What'd he say? Didn't he say it himself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Child. But they're happy about it. And I've said this before, they're treating us like we're chickens on the damn feeding thing. They just shoving it down our throat, fattening us up for the slaughterhouse.
Period.
And we're too
Period.
busy dancing into the, what's his name? Skate, 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 you know? Not
Right.
the Yin
Lil
Yang
Jon.
Twins, but Lil Jon, yeah.
To the windows, to the walls, bitch.
Yeah. And we just in here, yeah.
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 I'll vote tomorrow. I'm going
I'm going to go
home
get
to-
my abortion first. Then I'm going to come in here and turn up with Lil Jon.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to go back out there to a place I can't afford to live. Make it make sense.
And not
Child.
complain because my elders didn't complain.
Yes. And then it had the nerve to say, these women were happy with it, sitting there playing cards.
Happy with it.
Child.
And is he not understanding that he's speaking of a time when women, quote unquote, didn't have any rights?
And that's why they had to sit there and be happy with it.
And that's why they had to sit there and be happy and play their cards.
And there's a lot of fact checking you can do for the Obamas. You know, as much as I enjoy their tone, do some fact checking on some of the stuff they said because it was inaccurate. Okay.
Mhm.
Kamala did not come from no poor, broke down family. That's not
No.
what happened with Kamala. When her mama came over here, she had $19,000. Okay. So she didn't come over here with $9 in her pocket. She had 19. And then she put it in an account over in another place. Don't ask me how I know all this. They out here, you know, slinging mud. And so no, Kamala didn't come from no poor immigrants. So
No.
just to clear that up, there's a few fact checking y'all can do on the Obama speech. And mind you, the Obamas, they living in a $23 million home, one of their homes. Okay,
Right.
beachfront property. I just have a really hard time with that.
I do
I really
too.
do.
I do.
You know, you guys are saying how Trump's living off these tax breaks and that. Well, so are y'all. Y'all are
Mhm.
in the same tax bracket as Trump. So
Right.
anything he's using, y'all are using too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
don't paint me stupid. Don't color me stupid.
No. Don't pander to me. Don't gaslight me, because that's what a lot of it feels like, gaslighting me into trying to vote for you because of this or because of that, because the country is in danger. The country is in danger because you 2, 4, 6, however many fuckers are sitting up there trying to tell us, the rest of us, what we can and cannot do with our bodies. Just as women's rights are under fire, men's rights, natural born cisgender masculine men, their rights are under fire as well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
Men ain't winning. Natural born masculine men ain't winning in this system unless they're doing things against their morale code. The honest, earnest man is out here hustling and bustling to provide for his family. So don't, Mr. Barack Obama, stand in front of the Black community and pander to us as if you understand us. And especially, sir, as a biracial to a biracial, you definitely ain't acting like you understand us.
No. No. Oh boy, these politicians, boy, they doing it, aren't they? And spending all this money, y'all, using up all our money after they spent all our money.
Mm-hmm. Just
And the
using
crowd
and
was just
spending.
eating it up. Gobble gobble.
Yeah, these public servants ain't serving the public too fucking well at this point.
Mm-mm. And they're American politicians, but these people also have their hands all across the globe.
Mhm.
Okay? All across the globe. We're just the experiment.
The experiment. I think that's the second time I've heard a politician slip up and say that. The American experiment, I mean experience.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what this is. It's the experiment. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine. But, I'm interested to see who they bring out tonight,
Yes.
to speak because we didn't check in with the red-haired Project 2025 lady. I don't know if she came back because she said something about she was going to tell us what it meant for us financially. So maybe we can come back with some of what she had to say because she says she read it and she's breaking it down for us.
Mhm.
If you were a part of the book club, you read it as well. Lurker broke it down on NAB as well too.
Mhm.
So, but Trump has said he's not a part of it. But there was leaked audio that
He was.
he still is, but that's their PR thing.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Yep. He's and I'm telling y'all, it does not matter if it's Trump or not. Right? The Heritage Foundation is going to try its hardest to slip it in one way or another.
right.
They're talking about insurrections and all kinds of stuff. I mean, listen, but again, when we watched this the other night, y'all, there are people outside of Chicago, right, or outside of the DNC, the United Center. Where are they at? Is it the United Center? Where are they at? I can't recall.
Girl.
I don't know the name of the place that they're at.
All
but
I
there's
know is the Michael Jordan Center.
Yeah, they still out there protesting. They're not letting up on the DNC people. So as much
No.
as they're trying to show us from the inside, it is a mess on the outside. Okay.
And just to reiterate, those people are out there saying they want Palestine to be free and they want policy change for foreign aid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what they want. They're not out there because of police brutality. They're not out there for women's rights. They are out there because they're tired of their news feed showing them that women and children are dying for no reason and that we are funding the death
genocide
of those people. We're tired of that. But people don't really, at this point, no one really cares about anything else you got to say. And it's unfortunate that both candidates keep dancing around,
the complaints of their citizens.
Yeah. Thank you for that donation. I appreciate it. Yes, they keep dancing around it. No one wants to talk about stopping the foreign aid. And like I told you the other day, I completely backed out of Trump when I heard him basically big upping Israel and how they're our strongest ally, they're our closest friend, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't get behind this because the last time you were up here, that was not your speech at all.
Right.
It was very much stop sending money, stop doing this, I'm going to stop this. Now it's no, they're our biggest ally, they're our biggest friend. No, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do have the right to demand better. We have the right to have better than what we have now. Absolutely. Absolutely. That those billions of dollars that has been sent to eradicate people could have been pumped back into this child care tax credit they're talking about, this lowering of the groceries they're talking about, this lowering of gas prices, this housing economy lowering and being more available. All of those things could have been happened could have happened already.
Could have been implemented immediately.
Absolutely, but they're
And
not.
instead of scaring us about January 6th, why not turn that into an open forum day? Okay. Clearly,
Right.
the people are upset. Let's have open forums to where we can produce change, produce progress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because, I'm not going to say it, but you keep poking a wounded bear, it's eventually going to snap back. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be ugly and it's going to be brutal. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep kicking us while we're down. And you're going to see
Yeah.
why we ended up being Americans. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because our forefathers weren't going for it.
No, absolutely not.
They weren't going.
No. And that's why I don't understand why they keep trying to paint January 6th as this horrific. Yes, did people lose their lives?
One lady did, right?
Well, some people say one person died. I heard the other night or at the DNC, 5 people died, which was
Oh.
really confusing to me. Someone said 5 people died, but I had only heard 1 died, others were injured. I don't know. But anyways, to me, it's not a 9/11 attack. It's not even a mass shooter attack level. This is the people told you what was going to happen before it happened. They told you. They walked the streets for days and weeks on end telling you if you rig their election, they're going to take over the Capitol. And they did.
Yep.
They did. They showed you, and it was the message to I think, and that's what makes it scary. You were saying that because it shows the rest of the world and the rest of our nation itself that the people actually have the most power when they combine forces. When they throw down the I'm black, you're white, you're Asian, you're Hispanic, when they throw down all of that and come together as one, a lot of that puts fear in politicians' hearts. And we haven't seen that type of activity in a very long time. The Boston Tea Party, we talk about it in history as it's this beautiful thing, right? But I'm sure at the time and years and months after it happened, those people were not heroes. Politicians probably drove fear into people's hearts. That a group of people stood up and dumped tea into the rivers because they weren't paying taxes.
Only 3% at that, wasn't it?
Right.
So.
And we over here getting busted in the head with taxes. So if people want to crash the Capitol, let them do it. You better be glad they're not. I'm the captain now with your damn shit. Okay, period.
Okay, I looked it up. I looked up the January 6 people. 2 people died from a heart attack. One was 55, one was 50. They deemed it natural cause of death. Then there's the 35-year-old woman who was shot. And then there was a law enforcement officer who had a stroke.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Scared the shit out them people.
Mm-hmm. 1 from a stroke, 2 from heart attacks. And 1 shot. So, okay. Oh, and then they said there was 4 suicides in the days and months after the riot. Who were those people?
And why?
Yeah, who were those people?
So
yeah, I was watching this show on Netflix called Prison Break. It used to be aired on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the first season. It was 22 damn episodes long, but I watched it. And it was really interesting to see how it was all based on political agendas. So if y'all are bored, go watch you some Prison Break. And it talks about a woman vice president trying to make her way to presidency and how she's willing to kill any and everybody. I said, wait a minute. Wait a
Prison Break
minute.
was a good TV series. It really
I was
was.
like, oh my goodness. So I wasn't looking at it for how, the prison break part. I was, because sometimes they be slipping in some truth with these shows.
Mhm.
So go watch y'all some Prison Break. And baby, the links that show went to show the power and how the Secret Service and how all that was working. I said, oh no.
Right, and just think, Auntie, that the people saw that then as an infringement, right? If Trump doesn't win this time, storming the Capitol might be the least of our worries. Because there's already been videos circulating of people catching the systems.
False voting.
Yes, false voting, or they click on one name, but it won't click off the other name. So just stay ready, y'all. Please, just stay ready. And this that's not fear mongering. It's just stay vigilant, stay prepared.
Right.
Because when you're in a system that you barely have control in, the only thing you can do is stay prepared.
And one thing, I'll throw this out. I know we're not on Trump. I know we're on the Democrats right now, but I will say one thing I heard Trump say. He said he's going to take away income tax and supplement it with the tariff tax. So those are policies I'm eager to hear when he comes up for his debate and things of that. That they listen, if they can keep us dumbed down, medicated, and broke, they will.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think they're taking our income tax just to support the country. They want to keep us broke, stagnant, and then medicate us. Fluoride the water. Put your tinfoil hats on, okay? They want to shove a bunch of crap into the animals y'all want to eat. They want to put a bunch of stuff in the fertilizer, put all kinds of stuff in the water.
Nothing
They
is
want to
safe
keep us
anymore.
dumb, y'all. Dumb and broke. Okay? So, yeah, don't be scared. Get prepared.
Right. Or as the spiritualist would tell you, find a way to get yourself outside of the matrix. Outside of the matrix doesn't necessarily mean moving to a jungle. Okay? You can get you can get outside of a matrix, still inside of the matrix. Hallelujah. It's not that difficult. You just got to put a little effort and some work into it. It starts with maybe putting a garden. It starts with maybe buying you a cow or a chicken or whatever meat you like to eat the most of. It starts with, getting you some solar, some electrical wind turbines, those types of things. You can get yourself outside of dependency.
Yes. While you still have the chance, though. Okay?
Yes.
While you still have the chance. And then, who knows? Something might not happen. And Auntie, I did address the September 18th situation. I did address that earlier. And we'll be keeping our eyes out for that as well. Okay? Definitely. I'm not going super hardcore political, but I do want to take notes on history in the making.
Absolutely.
But it's something might not happen, but if you start today, imagine where your farm or your garden will be in 5 years. Who knows who's going to take office after this? Who knows where we're headed? So just get prepared now. That's it. That's it.
Prepared now. Yeah.
So, and I'm loving this feedback in the chat between Auntie and Nikki. And shout out to, I know Godmomma gave a shout out, but thank y'all for hitting the CashApp. We do appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It doesn't mean forsake bathing. Please don't. Okay. Unless you're trying to save water and you blah, blah, blah. Okay. I get it. Okay. I get it. I get it.
Please do not forsake bathing. I don't get it at all. No.
Yeah.
We can save, we can conserve elsewhere. Okay.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Wash your ass. Baby, wash your hands.
And just like we did during the COVID lockdown, remember people were getting all excited about baking bread and shit? I mean, keep that same energy, y'all.
Right. Absolutely.
Groceries are high as fuck. So let's start, make your own. Make your own groceries. I need to get in there and whip me up some stuff. I need to throw in the crock pot while I'm sitting here talking shit. I need to prepare for the weekend.
It's hump day, baby.
Just prepare yourselves. Fear not, okay? Because we are stronger than what we've been led to believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, feed your sourdough starters. Get in there. Make your jams. Get to pickling, okay? If you're anything like me, you know those cucumbers are outside getting awfully big. I don't know what I'm going to do with half of them, but I'm going to do something.
And my brothers, you can do the same, okay? This ain't just womanly work, okay? You can get out there, grow you some tomatoes, grow you some cucumbers, okras, get it together. Get you some greens, herbs.
Y'all like seasonings. Get your herbs together, okay?
Especially if you're a single man looking for a good woman, child.
Get your garden on. She'll be impressed.
She'll be like, baby, put it. Okay. I see you.
Making this house a home. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to try. This will be my first year. I'm going to try some hot pickles, garlic pickles, and then just regular vinegar, whatever.
Are you going to do the Kool-Aid pickles?
Hell no.
Oh, sorry.
I ain't doing no Kool-Aid pickles. Hell no.
Oh, the dog is finally barking at someone. Hallelujah.
At a human.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead. So, and shout out to Miss LaKendra. She had, speaking of mothers, okay, her baby is celebrating his life cycle today.
Yeah.
And we are proud to see these young men growing up and doing what they need to do. Okay.
And shout out to her for her laboring day.
And all the 20 years she spent after. Period. Shout out to all the mamas. All right, y'all. We gave y'all 2 hours this rising. Y'all have been wonderful, and y'all have been very kind with us because we try to stick to a schedule, but life be life, and y'all try to stick to a schedule. But we are going to keep up with the politician situation. We might do some fuckery sometime soon. The Vegas trip is about to pop off in the beef sector, so we might have to lay down our tinfoil hats and go engage with the fuckery for a little bit.
Because we'll always be
just
in
to
a
give ourselves a break. Yeah, give ourselves a break, and let's attend to other people's affairs for a little bit.
All right, let's mind some other people's business.
Just for a little bit. Let's see what's going on in Vegas, because Wiley got the strip hot. Okay,
baby.
So when they land, it's already gonna be hot. Okay. I know y'all probably don't know who we're talking about, but don't worry, we'll let you know soon enough. What a blessing. Yeah, we'll keep up with who's speaking tonight. If we don't stream it, we'll do a catch up, a replay, and take it from there.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Time to get back to life now.
Time to get back.
Click out of the metaverse and go into the real universe.
Yes. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Thank y'all for being here. Like, share, subscribe. We did turn it on subscribers only. I think that's how we're going to be rocking out from now on. You want to type in the chat. Don't be scared to hit that subscribe, or don't. You could just sit and listen. We don't mind lurkers either.
We really don't.
And give us some feedback for the replay game. We want to hear from y'all. How do y'all feel? We got to hear from Nikki, 504, LaKendra, Auntie, Lion Pelt, Will. Thank y'all all for coming through. Reef drop down, letting us know it's perversion. Come on, Reef.
Perversion.
Always count on Reef to pop in.
Period. Buddy Lee showed up.
Buddy Lee. Shout out to Buddy Lee. Oh, wait.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Y'all go be great today.
All right. Peace and blessings. Happy hump day.
Toodle.
Like my release, this is a part of what I do to have fun, and I'm a creative. Creativity, I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's what keeps life interesting and makes it have fun. Makes me have fun.